Use our calculators is going to be the exact same way as what we did yesterday, except instead of hitting linear regression, we're probably going to hit quadratic. You guys are SMRT. So what I want to do here is real quick, we got to look back at the three different ways to write out quadratic functions. This was what we would call standard form. We had standard form, ax squared bx plus c. That's how we got to use the quadratic formula.
That was so sad.
It is, because it's weird. After that one, we did vertex form.
I forgot about it.
Yeah, that's what we're going to review real quick. Vertex form was x minus h quantity squared plus k, where h and k were your?
Aspetodes.
No, they were your vertex.
Vertex.
Oh. What?
Your vertices.
And then the last one was the intercept form. Intercept form was when you had zeros. And we called it x minus p and x minus q. This was the intercept form.
What's the A?
I'm going to get there. The A value. A value told you a couple of different things. If A was positive, your curve was
Up.
like a.
Up.
Up like a cup, down like a.
Do you frown upward?
Turn that.
You gotta like stand right there.
You can't stand on your hands.
Do it. Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Why?
Do it.
Speed it out.
Don't let your-
Who's your daddy? It's from Kindergarten Cop. Anyway. A values tell you what direction the parabola is opening, up or down. It also tells you basically how wide it is. The wider the larger the A value, the narrower it was. The smaller the absolute, or the lower the absolute value was, the wider it was.
What was P
So
and
what-
Q for intercept?
That was your, if you recall, that was your intercepts, your zeros.
Oh, right.
So if you had zeros at 4 and negative 6, that meant it was x minus 4 and x plus 6.
So would that be like if they just gave you your zeros, they said this is where your intercepts are at.
Yep.
And you just did that.
Yeah. So with these three formats, we actually modeled and wrote out equations. We did this back in the quadratic stuff. So just going to do this real quick. If we had to write out the in vertex form, given the following information of the vertex and another point. So we have this form, we have the h and k given to us, and we also have an x, y value of 4 and 1. Gee, what do you think we're going to solve for?
Hey.
A! We're going to solve for A.
Why? You just write down.
Well, y's right here. What we're solving here, if you look at it, guys, when we have vertex form, you have 5 variables. You're going to know 4 of them. Find A. So you substitute in. 1 equals A times the quantity 4 minus 2 squared minus 3. If you remember when you guys did this way back when, like October-ish, the weather was probably about the same. What you guys screwed up is that you forgot order of operations. Order of operations here, you got to take out the parentheses. So what's 4 minus 2? 2 squared is? Now here's what you guys would actually do. You actually would go 4 minus 3 and say it's 1. Don't do that. It's 4a minus 3 equals 1. See what I'm saying? You guys would usually combine that real quick because you're forgetting that you multiply by a. And now you just solve for a. What's that? Yeah, you guys would accidentally do 4 minus 2 squared to get 4, then you do 4 minus 3, you get 1, you write 1a.
It'd be the same answer.
By dumb luck.
Does it always?
No.
Yes.
So then from here, you would just, now you have your A value, you have your H and your K, just rewrite it. The equation was y equals x minus 2 quantity squared plus 3. Oh, excuse me, minus 3. Okay? I know you've all done it. Wasn't very difficult. Really, 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 really straightforward. Okay. Same thing, using intercept form. Do the same basic idea when you're using intercept form. You have your intercepts at -2 and 3, and your other point is at -1 and 2. So if your intercepts, your zeros, if you will, are at -2 and 3, your terms would be x plus 2, x minus 3. So you just substitute in your values again. 2 is going to be a, -1 plus 2, -1 minus 3.
The X is
You'll have to be given another order. You'll have to be given another order.
oh, the X is the XY, not
Yep. What's -2 plus 1? Or excuse me, -1 plus 2. What's -1 minus 3? What? Quick, what's 1 times -4? All right, you may answer.
One time, just
I'm pretty sure.
Did you say 5?
She said hi.
Oh, hi.
Close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough, right? So, what is A?
Wait, -1.
Wait,
No.
Guys,
it's negative half.
With anger.
Suffered too many concussions from birthday beatdowns.
So your answer,
Case.
oh, you haven't had it yet.
Did you hit me again?
It was an accident.
How was I you threw the pen can. You should stop it.
I was trying to save him. Well, it was a glancing blow, otherwise that pen cap could have poked him in the eye.
Well, you smacked him in the eye.
No, I didn't.
You hit me, then I moved, so the pen cap wouldn't hit me.
It's like I pushed you out of the way of a bus.
Huh?
It's like I pushed you out of the way of a bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but threw it into a fire.
Into a bigger bus.
Potato, potato. And then the last way of doing these things is when you had 3 sets of ordered pairs. And we did this using a 3x3 matrix. I don't know if you guys remember that, by doing a system of equations. All right, let's revisit this. So if we want to write a quadratic into standard form is your ax squared bx plus c. When you're given 3 ordered pairs, you've got 3 sets of x's and y's. What we're trying to do is figure out what is the constant a, b, and c value that can create the equation that encompasses those 3 ordered pairs. Well, then I'll just make you do it by hand.
You could do it on a calculator?
Remember, it was like
So here's what we got. We've got 3 values of x's and y's.
Oh no, I hate this. Oh, this is so stupid.
Wait, is
You
this
could put it in
right?
a calculator.
If this is what I'm remembering.
Isn't the
So it's
matrix-
a
I'll try-
times
Oh, no, this is
-1
easy.
squared
Yeah, this is easy.
plus b times -1
It's still the.
plus c equals 5. A times 0 squared plus b times 0 plus c equals 3. A times 3 squared plus b times 3 plus c is 9. What we're getting here is we wind up with 3 equations. you wind up with negative, or excuse me, you wind up with 1a. Oops. We wind up with 1a minus 1b plus c is 5. 0a plus 0b plus c is 3. 9a plus 3b plus c is 9. You have 3 equations with 3 variables, which you could, this one isn't so bad because you have 0. I mean, what's c? 3. So you could set this up to solve by hand by using, you know that c is going to be 3, substitute c to both other equations, then just use elimination to go the rest of the way, or just use a matrix. Remember, a matrix is just a set of coefficients. And what we do is we take a what's called a coefficient matrix. 1, negative 1, 1. 0, 0, 1. 9, 3, 1. I believe it's alpha zoom.
Yeah.
You want to do alpha zoom and do a 3 by 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we have to know what multiplying it by. Okay. So in order for us to do this, we put in this 3 by 3 matrix real quick. And then I want you guys to think about it in terms of how do you undo operations? You use the inverses, right?
Right.
It's basically the same idea. What we're going to do is take the inverse of this matrix and multiply it to the answer matrix, which is 5, 3, 9. And when you do it this way, it'll give you a column matrix of your answers, A, B, and C. The button says negative 1. For non-working, probably sell it for parts.
Use it, sell it as slightly used.
Yeah.
Can you just find out the answer?
Then
God.
you order it.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
FedEx Club.
The button says negative 1.
What's in the box?
What'd you guys get for A, B, and C?
1, negative 1.
Negative 1 and 3?
1, negative 1, 3.
So that means my answer is x squared minus x plus 3 is y. There's your function.
Nice.
Standard form, yeah. Standard form, you usually have the 3 ordered pairs that you're working with, and you're just going off the matrices. Okay. And I'm pretty sure we did a few of these before. I wanted you guys to take a minute just to see how you did it. You want to do another one real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Yes, we do.
All right.
And so you can only do this if you get the 3 given points.
Yeah. Here's my computer. I'll try and do it too. Actual regression. So when we do regression formulas, just like we did yesterday, first thing you want to do is clear out all of your lists. That format, that sheet, the formatting sheet that you guys had yesterday, all the steps are going to do the exact same thing, except at the very end, you're going to choose quadratic. Eventually, you guys are going to have all the different model stuff to look at when you're looking at a specific set of data, and you're going to have to try to figure out what does it look like to figure out the equation. You're going to pick quadratic, cubic, some of the other ones, like trig or something. But it's all dependent upon what the curves or the lines are doing. So you get better at it the more we do these problems. So same deal here. After you clear all lists, remember, hit second plus sign 4. That'll clear out all your lists. And then what I want you to do is create your table of L1 and L2. Now, the data that we're talking about here, excuse me, are average home sale prices between the years, since the year 1988, and the table's starting at year 0, which would be 1988. 2 years later would be 1990, 1992, and so on. It's going up years since 88, 88. So some people have put in their tables 88, 90, 92, and so on. If you want to do that, that's fine. But remember that the questions sometimes change, like how they word it. So I would just keep it when they say year since, just do that as 0, 1, and whatever it is. The second part of it said average sale prices. It says hundreds of thousands of dollars or thousands of dollars. Am I going to type in my table 165000? No, it's silly. So I just make sure that when you're looking at your answers, it's in thousands. So if we put that into our table, in our L1 and L2, again, you got to make sure that your y equals stuff is cleared out. Just make sure the y equals is cleared out. Once you do that, you hit graph, and it should show up. Remember, you're going to have to mess around with your window. You're going to have to play with the window so that way it all shows up, and you can actually see what you're doing.
How do you get that all one, two, three again?
Stat, edit.
Make sure it's clear. Check it out. No. He's going down. Here it comes. Material possessions, knowledge. You've never seen the Ty Lopez commercial?
Who?
Ty Lopez. He's a self-proclaimed billionaire.
Multi-billion.
Whatever the terminology is. And
Rich guy.
yeah, and he's not really rich, so he just like rented a Ferrari and put it in a storage unit. And then he shot this commercial there where he was trying to get people to go to his website. And so yeah, and so in his commercial he had all these steps to how he got rich. And so he's saying how his Lamborghini isn't worth nearly as much as all these books he reads. And he reads a book a day, and apparently that's how he got rich. So
He's more proud of the stolen 70 bookshelves.
yeah, he said he has like 2,000 books, and he's more proud of those than he is his Lamborghini.
That sounds really awesome. Sounds like a cool dude.
No, the commercial's awesome. I love it.
You guess you believe it.
I did my speech video on that for to make a commercial. Yeah, I copied it. And I thought I had this accent down pretty good. You know what's even better than material possessions? It's knowledge.
Knowledge.
And he goes, you know what I'm even more proud of than my new Lamborghini in my garage? It's my 7 new bookshelves. Because you know the key is read a book a day. Because knowledge gets you what you want. That's how I got my nice new Lamborghini, which I drive around in the Hollywood Hills.
Anyway, I'm going out on a limb at this point in time. You guys have been able to figure out your windows and go through that. Now, you have the knowledge and the skills to achieve your best. I'm like shoveling the out. Yeah. Anyway, so once you get that, figure out your equations. Remember how to do that? Stat, calculate, and we're looking at quadratic now. When you do your stat calculate quadratic regression, it's going to give you your A, B, and C value. round it out to a couple, like 2-3 decimal points, and then you'll use that as your equation. Excuse me. On some of the newer calculators, you can actually send that equation to the y equals, but I forgot how to do that, so just write them down. So now you can say, hey, use your model to predict the average sale price for a house in 95. Well, 95 was how many years after 88? 7. So once you put that into your y equals, go through your table and look for 7 in your x column. I know, it's a lot to ask for. Yeah, you're going to get weird maybe, because it's a real... What's that? You calculate your regression.
Get the plan.
I know there's a way to do it, I forgot how.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. That is my favorite. Did you see his house to the video? I also saw it.
I got it. There's a way to do it. And then you just use that for your A, B, X, and Y, and all that fun stuff. Are you okay?
I want to figure out what a house would cost in 1994.
I have
In 1995?
I think it's 35, 36.
How many years is that?
I know!
I went park testing,
Alright, so
so I was like, well, I'm not gonna miss math class. So I came to park at 9.
yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Do those, please, and thank you.